COVID shook the world at a time when global hunger and malnourishment were already on the rise. During the initial days of the pandemic, an estimate laid down by the United Nations had predicted that around 132 million people may go hungry in the current year due to the economic recession. With the threat of the global pandemic looming large, the international food banks and the supply chains have failed miserably. How has COVID-19 impacted global food security? As per the World Bank, the economic impact of the pandemic might create acute poverty for about 100 million people. The rising unemployment rates, loss of income, and soaring food prices are making it increasingly difficult for the developed as well as the developing countries to access food. This is bound to have long-term impacts on food security. Also, since there was a lack of food production this year, the scarcity of food is likely to extend till the end of 2021. The impact of the pandemic led to panic buying, which resulted in food shortages. The supply chain for many products got disrupted. Food retailers were perhaps most affected by the virus. While online grocery buying rose steadily, small-scale farmers faced a difficult time, embracing digital technologies to sell their produces directly through the delivery systems. How has the pandemic affected food prices? Food prices all over the world saw a sharp rise due to the pandemic, especially dairy products and vegetable oils. Contrastingly, rice and meat experienced a decline in their prices. Countries that are significantly affected by hunger witnessed a rise in the prices of certain food items, mainly due to logistical issues and localized logistical problems. For instance, while food prices increased in Afghanistan up 20%, in Yemen the food prices increased by 35%. The prices of principal food items in Sierra Leone rose much above the long-term average. In the case of Syria, there was around 40% to 50% increase in the prices of food staples. However, the country also faced a lack of basic goods. What is the impact of COVID-19 on the food supply chain? Seasonal or temporary unemployment is very common in developing as well as underdeveloping countries, especially in sectors like harvesting, processing, planting, sorting, and carrying crops to the markets. The supply chain has been significantly affected due to the absence of migrant and local workers as a result of travel restrictions during the lockdown. This has not only weakened the production abilities but also deteriorated the standard of food safety. As a result of the COVID-19 crisis, severe labor shortage disrupted labor-intensive sectors like horticulture, crop processing, harvesting, planting, and livestock production. Apart from impacting the producers, consumers, and distributors, the supply chain also impacted the labor-intensive food processing plants. How has consumer behavior changed due to the COVID-19 outbreak? Many false rumors and posts on social media negatively influenced customer behavior and provided fake information to the consumers regarding the production of a few food items. People who have had enough purchasing power hoarded and shelved food, which led to a huge food crisis. Governmental initiatives that disallowed public gathering also encouraged the trend of indoor dining, thereby reducing the customer footfall in restaurants and food service outlets. What has the FAO Index shown? The FAO Index is used to monitor the changes in the global prices of the most internationally traded food items. As per a recent report published by the United Nations, the prices of the food commodity worldwide rose strikingly in November, hitting their highest level in the past 6 years. As per the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO Index increased by 3.9% from October and averaged 105 points in the last month. The sub-indices of this metric have seen a hike in November. The FAO Index for vegetable oil gained a whopping 14.5% in November. As the wheat and the maize export prices rose, the global rice prices went steady during the entire month of November. The FAO Index for cereal prices increased by 2.5% and averaged at a higher rate of 19.9% than what it was in November 2019. The FAO Index for sugar prices rose by 3.3% every month despite a worldwide production shortfall due to unsuitable weather conditions. The FAO Index for dairy prices rose 0.9%, which was largely due to stable prices of butter and cheese. The FAO Index for meat price increased 0.9%, but remains to be 13.7% lower than in 2019. While the prices of ovine, bovine, and pig meats increased, the prices of poultry meat faced a mentionable decline. The outbreak of COVID-19 has not only impacted global health, but has also affected the various stages of the supply chain of different industries. The food and beverage industry is facing new challenges every day as a result of COVID-19. The companies that are associated with consumer products have suffered from troubled supply chains and decreased consumption. Though the indoor consumption has increased, the outdoor consumption that produces the highest margin has become stagnant. This might have long-term effects on customer demand and behavior. The proper functioning of the global food and beverage sector has largely been affected by the intense worldwide concerns surrounding the pandemic. Although the cost of the agricultural goods and the F&B items have been more or less remained stable, a prolonged impact of the novel coronavirus disease might include financial vulnerability and food inflation. Though the short-term effects are more observable, the global supply chain might continue to suffer due to a magnanimous impact of the COVID-19.